Hey, welcome back to the Sports Screen Podcast Network. I'm John with the J, joined with me today by none other than NFL analyst
Clayton Anderson.
Welcome back, Clayton. And today we've got a lot to cover, and we're going to do it in a little bit of time, not like last episode. So let's dive right into what's most fresh. And Clayton, that would be the Monday Night Football game. Talk to me.
Just like I thought it would be, predictable. Lions. I will say Lions at least showed up for a half. I thought it was going to be 38-3 or something like that. Aaron Rodgers looks good.
Is he back? Is he back? Is he back?
Yeah, he never really left, but I will say though that they were determined to run the ball. They were talking about that going into the Saints game. They wanted to run the ball. Aaron Jones got is it Aaron Jones?
Yeah,
the running back.
Yep.
Got four touchdowns. He won me $9 on FanDuel. So
oh, nice. Congratulations on your victory.
Yeah, thank you. So, slow little victories here and there. Well, it'll eventually get to 1 million. Don't worry. but no, didn't see as much Devontae Adams, but like I said, those two are tied to the hip. But if you saw the game, did you have this feeling of like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are still not on the same page? Like it's not a honeymoon, but like this is coming to an end or something.
Yeah, it feels like they've broken up, but they're still living together. Like let's just be friends and we'll work it. So it's kind of awkward, and there's definitely a disconnect. The energy was there. Let me say this: like, I don't know which commentator it was, but he had mentioned that it has been, 652 days before the home crowd got to see, feel, and like be a part of a Lambeau Leap. 652 days. Wow.
That's 2 years. But also, well, here's the thing: in the NFC Championship, they allowed some fans in.
Right.
But I know what you're saying. Like
as a collective, and it just everyone going nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say about the Lions is that I think they made the right I think Sean McVay made the right choice in getting their old quarterback and dumping off Jared Goff, because the commentators last night was mentioning how on 3rd and 10, Goff had like a guy wide open for 3rd and 15. Like he could have converted the first down, and he just misses it. And, from what I saw with Matthew Stafford on Sunday, it's just like Matthew Stafford's just on a whole nother level than Jared Goff. So once again, the Lions just get screwed.
Yeah.
So
this is an elite class of career choice / just, let's just call it your job, right? There's only 32 people on the planet that get to be NFL quarterbacks. And look, man, like that is a very, 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 very small sampling of the rest of the population, right? So these men have to be magicians, bro. They have to be wizards to the next level. And look, Goff's a great quarterback, but is he a starting NFL quarterback? And that's what, that's what his former team said. You know what? You're great, but we want the best. And maybe Goff's a backup quarterback somewhere. Like he's just, he's a placeholder, I think, right now.
I think he's becoming a Joe Flacco. It's amazing because that first year or so with the Rams, like the year they went to the playoffs with McVay and the year they went to the Super Bowl, I was looking at Jared Goff like, wow, this kid can sling the ball, but like he had Todd Gurley, he had Cooper Kupp, he had Robert Woods, and he had Aaron Donald on the defense. You're in Detroit now, and don't get me wrong, every NFL team has talent, but this is a new staff, and to me, what's his name, Dan Campbell, it doesn't scream offensive masterminds.
Yeah.
So he's just at best. Jared Goff should have just beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying. You should have just that night, if you would have just beat them, if you would have just beat him, he'd still be in LA right now.
Right, man. And that's that separation too. That's what separates the ones that are part of that elite class and the others that are going to have a decent career. They're going to do all right. They'll get a few high fives, but they're not good. They're just not equipped to win the bowl, man. And
Yeah.
LA saw this and they're like, look, man, you can have him. We'll gladly do a mutually beneficial trade here, but we're ready to move on. You guys have a lot of work to do. We're ready to move on to the next step. In fact, we've already been there just recently. You guys, at least you'll have a foundational piece here to build upon. But like we need Stafford. You can't benefit from him anymore. You've depleted your resources there. Let us take him before you totally destroy him. And I think it was a genius maneuver.
Yeah, and we'll get into Rams Colts later, but yeah,
Sure.
it's a genius move. You get rid of that huge contract that you clearly made a mistake on. You get rid of a guy that you clearly didn't want. You get a guy that you want, and you don't even care about first round draft picks anyway.
Yep.
And trust me, sometimes I seriously do think that sometimes, especially when you're drafting in the 20s, draft picks are kind of overrated. I mean, it's like a lottery ticket. It's like a one in. I mean, like only a handful of guys 3 years out. Everything else is a bust. I'm talking like every single year. First round draft picks are just not. It's like 15 to 20 of your first round draft picks are bust, and maybe there's like 10 of them. And even then, in that 10, there's just like 3 of them that maybe go on to have a decent career out of each year.
Right.
So,
and I would attribute much of that to the media hype surrounding and not just the hype, but also the attention that a lot of these players get that go in the first round. And all of these diamonds in the rough just get missed because there's so much magnification on these. Oh, you got to take, and then that creates pressure from the organization. And your owner's like, I want this guy. He's going to sell jerseys. And you're absolutely right, man. It's a total lottery. Boom or bust. There is gold to be had in the future rounds.
Well, yeah, and don't get me wrong. You can nail on draft picks.
Sure.
You get them later in the middle rounds, but if you're taking a proven commodity, if you're saying like, yeah, I'll give you 2 firsts for Matthew Stafford, because you're not going to get a Matthew Stafford at pick 27.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a great point.
So anyway.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
I've got a question about. I mean, we got to talk about it real quickly, and then we'll move on to the rest of the games. How did you feel week 2, the Manning Megacast?
I didn't watch it. I totally forgot it was on.
Okay.
I totally forgot.
Which kind of brings me to my point. Is it going to be lasting? I did watch it because I was curious. It almost felt like they were in their sophomore slump and the buzz had worn off a little bit because it was awkward. It's just not fluid yet. And maybe they're feeling themselves out like a lot of these teams in week 1 and week 2. They're getting their rhythm. And especially because I feel like the Mannings are in a new offense. And as prolific as they were on the field, off the field, maybe they're going to need some time. The guests that they brought on this week were Gronk. And let me tell you, Clayton, I felt like he thought he was on a WWE like broadcast event. It was just, I don't know if it was I'm sure some of the audience enjoyed it, but then they shifted into Favre. And, I got a little excited, but Favre looked like he was either like technologically scared or confused and just totally inept. He's like looking up and like around, and it was kind of like almost sad, like old man Favre has lost his marbles, and Peyton was running all over on top of him and stuff, and it wasn't smooth. They then went into Patrick Willis, linebacker from the 49ers back in the day, and he was forgettable, and he felt like he was on and off in 30 seconds. Then they ended with some guy named Pat McAfee. Are you familiar with him? You are?
Yeah. He's Peyton's old punter.
Oh, that's why they were talking about punting so much. Okay, I get it.
Look up Pat McAfee show. He's a previous Colt. He retired. I guess he wasn't that great of a punter, but I mean, punters good punters can last like 20 years in the league.
Yeah.
But no, he's a guy who he runs his mouth, but he's a cool dude. I just because I was a Titan, I couldn't stand him at first.
I got it.
But as time went on, I was like, he like curses, and he's a cool dude. He's more of a barstool.
Yeah,
Kyle?
he did drop a son of a bitch one time, and I was like, "Whoa, are they doing that on ESPN?" And he seemed like, like a man cave kind of guy, like and just like he had a tank top on and stuff. And I don't know if he was my flavor of tea, but like I was just like, man, I don't know how I feel about this Manning thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, me on your show,
yes,
no cursing.
right,
I will not curse on your show. So you know why? Because I want if there's younger kids, if there's highly religious folks, or there's just folks who don't want to hear the same old 5 curse words that are predictable and waters your speech down and makes people judge you a little hardcore,
right.
then hey, maybe some professionalism. Like I was a stand-up comic for 10 years.
Yeah.
I get it. I know what cursing's like. It was also in the middle school playgrounds. Like who cares?
Right. Well, I appreciate your dedication to this, the lost art of sans profanity. I will drop bombs only because, not to be cool or anything like that, but just because it's part of my vernacular, and I'm from New York and I'm Italian. It's going to happen. But that's just me being authentic. If one day the curse words, like my father, who used to be a prolific cursor, now no longer curses, if I should one day wean that out of my lexicon, great. But for now, there's going to be a drip of shit, that, and the other thing. But no, I really, and I love the fact that we have those two different sides of the equation here on the podcast, for sure, man.
And here's what's great. If you personally know me, I curse a lot.
Yeah, and that's why I said, and I do know you personally, so that's why I think it's awesome that you're dedicated to this. And
I'm working on it.
Yeah, it'll be great, and I can't wait for you to slip up once or twice, because that'll be fun.
Oh no, I've got this on lockdown. Don't worry.
All right. Yeah.
Peyton Manning, real quick.
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to last tops 2 seasons. It'll probably. It all depends. If the ratings tank, that's it. I think it should have been a one-time thing. It should have been the first Monday night game. And then like, wasn't that fun? And then you get the reactions. You give people a tease, and then people go like, man, it'd be cool if they did that Peyton Eli thing again.
Yeah, it's all going to be about the ratings, man. So we'll see what happens. But it has potential. I like the idea because it's different. I like we talked about last week, that they're bringing on a variety of guests and stuff. And I hope they bring in some other type of celebrities, comedians and stuff like that, to mix it up. So it's not all, because they got the football thing on lockdown. Like with the two of them and their wisdom, they can bring on some people like Favre and Patrick Willis and Pat McCaffrey, whatever. And that's cool. But maybe like one celebrity here and there, maybe not just all football. And that will make it dynamic, I think, and engaging on a whole nother level. But let's shift into the next game, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
And here we go. Whoop, whoop.
Oh man, you're gonna have to put the Ravens up. They're the ones who won that game.
Oh, wait a minute. You're absolutely right. That's who we picked to win. And I was just about to say, like, you're absolutely right. The team that will get the backdrop every week is the team that wins. So sorry, Chiefs. Everyone on the planet thought you were going to win. But what happened, Clayton? Tell us.
They goofed up. That's it. That's simple. They goofed up. They had the game. They had the game in their hands. And what's funny is it wasn't Patrick Mahomes who goofed up. It was the running back, second year. What's his name?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, he goofed it up. But to be honest with you, I think this is a game that the Ravens, I think if they lost again, it was just going to, and they were the skin of their teeth. They knew they were dead men walking with 2 minutes ago with that field goal So that's why I think they went for it on fourth down. I liked it. I gave it credit, man. It was like watching Madden.
It's a really good observation. Yeah, it was like watching Madden. Like, is this real life football? Like, is this happening?
And the game didn't start out. The game didn't start out hot. Like the first pass from Lamar,
Yeah,
pick six.
yeah,
So it was a back and forth. That Travis Kelce play where he caught it in the middle and he kept breaking tackles and got all the way in. It was like a 60-yard touchdown.
yeah.
I think that's what led Mahomes. He got too comfortable with that, and he thought he could do it again, and then they picked him off.
Yeah,
Um,
I do like that swagger. I like that they don't panic. I like that Patrick is like, hey, there's 20 seconds on the clock. We're fine. I love
yeah,
that. But I think you're right. I think they got a little too comfortable.
it's
Go ahead.
it's a little your magic is getting sloppy,
Yeah.
because as each day passes, you'll realize, oh my gosh. Well, but ultimately, it wasn't the magic that lost them the game. It was a simple running back fumbled in the worst case scenario, barely any time left, down by 2 or 1, and then Baltimore just pretty much played keep away. They knew
Right.
they had the lead. That's what's nuts. They didn't even have to score. They just had to get a couple first downs. And I think it was the right choice to go for it on fourth down because what was it, like a minute left? That's
Oh, yeah.
still enough time.
What
And
that
I
Go
think they
ahead.
would have lost the game. I think they would have lost that game. They punted it. I think
Yep.
Mahomes is so
Yep.
good.
Yep.
You would get it down and kick it. And it'd be
Agreed,
over.
agreed, agreed. And Harbaugh knew that. And he was like, he said in an interview that, yes, he asked Lamar, like, do you want to go for it? And you saw that on the TV. He's like, you want to go for it, Lamar? And he was like, of course, Lamar's going to say yes. But he had said before he even asked, he was already determined to go for it. He just wanted like affirmation that, all right, we're doing this. And I thought that was such a gutsy call. I thought it was the most brilliant call. And you're right. Because Mahomes was like, all right, yeah, leave 3 seconds on the clock. That's all I need, bro, because we're magicians on this side of the ball. And that's just the thing, man. It's kind of like that Green Bay thing as well. Is that war of attrition style of play, the offense is your best defense mentality, is it sustainable throughout a 17-week season? I don't know, man, because I think it's exhausting, actually. Go back and forth and 38, 29. And like, that's some high score and shit. In the NBA, that would be like 144 to 138. Like, it's just astronomical as far as offensive output is concerned. So I think what the Ravens did this week was like, hey, yeah, we've been decimated by injuries, but we brought in a bunch of running backs. Relax. We need a week to get them acclimated. But here's the thing that Baltimore does and will probably forever do as an organization. They play defense, man, and they're proud of their defense. And we're going to talk about it over and over again. The fans, the energy that was behind that team lifted them up and over the edge, I have to say.
Yeah, because you got to remember last year, week 3, it was COVID season, no fans in Baltimore. And it didn't end well. That was a blowout.
Yeah.
So the first 2 matchups were in Kansas City. The next 2 were in Baltimore, but this time it was in Baltimore with the fans. And I just think if a team continues to beat you, it drives you wild. You're going to find a way. Yeah. And to be honest with you, okay, granted, this is what I'm starting to realize about the Ravens. They're going to be just fine. I mean, they just beat Kansas City. So they can take care of maybe splitting with Cleveland, splitting or sweeping the Steelers. They can take care of the Bengals. So it's not like it's terrible, but it's not the end of the world because it's not like they lost 4 starters on the defense. But the defense gave up 30-something points.
Yeah.
So to me, I just think they realized like we got to make this Lamar ball. It's the only chance. And just with running backs, we're seeing it now. They're kind of, other than like Derrick Henry and like a few rare others,
Yeah.
They're kind of expendable. So if you lose them, you just get some more. It's nuts.
Right. And that could spill into our fantasy conversation at the end of the broadcast, and we'll get to that, folks. We'll clean up the day with fantasy, but there might be an evolution in fantasy strategy, if you will, moving forward into next year. Because do you have to go running back heavy in the beginning of the draft? I don't know, man. I'm watching a bunch of teams that are kicking my butt because they have incredible quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. Like the running backs are not making that heavy of a difference this season. But anyway, we'll save that for the end. Let's move into the next game, Clayton, with boom shakalaka.
Cowboys, yeah. What can you say? The Chargers threw an interception in the end zone to go up by a touchdown. Good for them. I had some Cowboy fans get on my TikTok and go like, "Oh, it looks like your prediction didn't end well." It's like, yeah, I don't know how these are going to go.
Nobody does.
Herbert threw a pick in the end zone, a terrible pick. Like
Right.
we're talking, even like not you don't even get a field goal out of it. You're at the 15-yard line. You throw that interception.
Yeah.
And instead of getting 7, you don't even get 3. So that's it. And then they get the ball and they potentially score. But I will say positively, like Dak looks good. Let me just adjust. Go ahead. You can talk for a second.
Yeah. Dak looks great.
Everything looks...
Look, man, the addition of their new defensive coordinator, whom at first might have been questionable because you're like, Dan Quinn, like his Falcons were horrible at defense. How is this? Well, he was an NFL head coach. So he knows a thing or two about a thing or two. And again, he was the head coach. He wasn't the defensive coordinator in Atlanta. So maybe he would have done like, Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan was a great defensive coordinator, but not so much the best head coach. So what I'm trying to say is this. They got the right guy, because to hold the Chargers to 17 points, like Dallas
at home.
Dallas has arrived, man. Like last year, it was laughable. So what a giant, and I'm going to talk about this throughout this podcast, what coaching does, because there's a few games, and Panthers, that we're going to talk about how coaching can totally transform an organization. But look at this, man. You add this defensive coordinator and Quinn, they are a totally different squad this year than last year.
Yeah, and this pick was more of a want. I just wanted the Chargers to win. I liked it.
Yeah.
Because Dallas finds a way to goof it up. But I guess Dallas was not going to go 0-2, especially after a week and a half off, especially when they should have won that game and be potentially 2-0 right now. But they look good. The receivers look good. They didn't put up a ton of points. I think they put up 20, which compared to the previous week was not as much.
Right.
But we'll see. Now they get 3 straight home games.
Yeah.
And the schedule gets a lot easier. So Dallas can go on a crazy run and seriously become like 5-1 and take the division, really.
Yeah.
So.
And for I'll real quick shift into fantasy, but not lean upon this heavily in the moment, but I just don't want to forget at the end of the broadcast. For all of you Ezekiel Elliott holders out there, no need to panic. This emergence of Tony Pollard is great, in fact, for you Elliott owners out there, because it's a long season and running backs get beat up. So it's awesome that the load isn't falling so heavily upon Elliott. And he doesn't look, the guy's in great shape. He doesn't look horrible like last year, like sluggish and just no spark. Like it's the engine's just getting rolling here. As we saw with Derrick Henry, everyone's like, "Oh, has the king been dethroned?" No, man, it was only week 1. And I'll just say this, it's only week 2. Like the engine's just starting to churn. The cogs are starting to spin. So no need to panic on Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, no, Zeke, they didn't run Zeke because the Bucs had one of the best rush defenses. And everyone thought with Dak coming off of that game, off the entire offseason, that they weren't going to possibly let Dak sling it. But they did. So he wasn't utilized in that first game. Now he's coming around. But let's talk about Pollard. Look, this guy's been in the system for a couple of years now. He's a good backup. he got 20 fantasy points. He got 23 points.
Yeah.
But talking about fantasy, I don't take pity on lazy fantasy players. I'm talking about people who play, not the NFL players.
Yeah.
Like you should already know that there's another running back there. Like we've been knowing about Pollard for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And he's finally coming out, and they're finally utilizing him. So instead of risking it and saying, "Oh, I'll take," hopefully he just pans out, I'll be lazy here. Take Pollard too. So what if it's a 5th rounder? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't wait until the 10th round to pick Pollard. But if Zeke gets hurt, and by the way, that's a handcuff. You should be handcuffing your running back anyway. So I just think it's the progressive people in fantasy that will win in the end. So take both, because Zeke could get hurt, and then Pollard's the guy.
Yeah, I'm in some super smart fantasy leagues, man. Like there's the waiver wires, like crickets and tumbleweeds, man. Like Pollard was never even a consideration to add. He was gone on draft day. But hey, man, we need to shift gears into what I'll call, dare I say, the game of the week. Boom.
My screen went black.
Went black?
Yeah, it goes black. Oh, okay, yeah, Titans. There we go.
I was wondering why I didn't get more of a smile when I brought it up on screen there.
No, I have this app that I've got this app that puts an ad every 10 seconds of a minute.
Oh, okay. Let's get into it. What do we got? What do you think, man? This is your team, so I'm gonna let you lead the way here. I only have one note on the subject, so take it over, man. You watched this game. You watched the whole game, mostly.
Yeah, I watched this game, but you got to remember, you're talking to a veteran Titans fan here. We should be 2-0 right now. They're gonna goof it up next week, because this is what they do. They get down by 21 points, and then they realize that they're gonna have to focus, and then they have a crazy game, and then they're gonna goof it up at home. So, not to sound like a pessimistic, I've seen this show before. They're gonna do it all season, and they're gonna finish 10-7. You know, it's just that Vrabel. Don't get enough energy out of them week 1. You get too much energy out of them week 2. I don't know. I just
does this team hit the field on Sundays, Mondays, or Thursdays, whenever the heck they're playing, without Clayton? Would you say an immediate sense of urgency?
I'm tired of going and watching the game, and Baker Mayfield or the Colts or whoever is up by 10 within 5 minutes of the freaking game. And let's be honest with you, like I know that you hyped this game up, but I had a lot of problems. Like, we were down by 14 in the 4th. My whole point is that, like, can we stop? Like, first off, a lot of third downs that were converted, so that's still not great. Running into the kicker, that kept Seattle on the field. Way too many blown coverages. Like, I think we gave up 3 bombs. Like, I'm talking like straight up 60-yard bombs. Like, no defender was even around the guy. I'm happy for the victory, but you're going to continue seeing that. And I'm just sitting there like, Mike Vrabel, your specialty is defense. I don't care if Derrick Henry gets 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm worried that your specialty is defense, and you're still having even third-string wide receivers blow past the entire defense for a touchdown. Like, this is the NFL. You don't see other teams do this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Now, you watch go ahead. You watch every week.
Yeah.
Every week. I don't see blown
coverages like that on other teams.
Okay.
But
let me ask you this. As the Titans expert, by far, do you feel like they come out of the gate? I said with a lack of sense of urgency, but do you also feel, as you watch these games and have for years, that they come out very predictable? Because the opposition is certainly studying the Titans. You know, film is a big thing in the present era of the NFL. I mean, like, there are people that are hired just to break down film. So do you think they come out so predictable and that's why they're always behind, and then they have to get creative and like then that sense of urgency kicks in? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. They try to run Derrick Henry up the middle, and I swear he always gets stuffed, and it always puts us back into 2nd and 9. Then it's like either incomplete pass or it's like a 5-yard curl route to the tight end. Then it's 3rd and 5, and then we don't complete it, or Tannehill's getting sacked too much. Field goal kicker missed the field goal again. So now the positive is we won.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess I'm happy. But you got to remember, man, coming off of week 1's terrible loss, I was so upset at this team that I wasn't even excited going into the Seattle game. I was just like, which blown coverage are they going to do today? How many times will Derrick Henry get stuffed in the back today? How many times will A.J. Brown drop the ball? And he dropped like 4 balls in this game. Julio showed up.
That was my next question for those out there that didn't get to see the game, myself included. And I'm a Julio Jones fantasy owner over here and Tannehill owner. My goodness. So for those that didn't get to watch the game, how did that chemistry look? How did those beasts get along on the field? You know, AJ and Julio. I know his numbers were great, but how did it look?
It looked better. And to be honest with you, the stupid refs, Julio had both his feet in bounds on that touchdown, but since his heel hit the line, they called it incomplete. And I'm like, what do you have to do to get a freaking touchdown catch in this league?
Throw me a freaking bone.
Well, and you lost points. You lost points on Tannehill's throw and Julio's pass.
Yeah.
But no, I will say on a positive note, I know I've been ranting. It's just like I've learned from the past not to get hyped because can you see me?
No, we lost you, but I could hear you.
All right. Someone's trying to call me. All right. I've learned from the past to hold my excitement after a big win.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it wasn't even a big win. It was like we barely won the game.
Right.
I mean, we could have been 0-2 right now. So, but we'll see. I'm slowly coming around. That was, you know what I said? Son of a gun.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Or did you go Pat McCaffrey on that ass?
No. When he kicked the field goal and won. And by the way, that was a safety. That was a safety. With forward progress, my behind. Look at me trying to be all clean for you. That was a freaking safety. That was a safety, and I just feel like the league's got something out against the Titans. They just don't want them to win or something. It's like we have to do 3 times more effort to get something done when other teams don't have to do any effort and they just get a flag. But anyway, that's just
bro. The football gods shine heavily upon the Titans on Sunday, sure.
Now, one more last thing to say.
Sure.
It's just like, coming into week 3, just don't get down by 14.
Yeah.
To get it going. And defense, let's just have a solid day where we keep things close. Like, let's not get down by 14 points in the fourth quarter, guys.
And we'll be covering that on our second episode this week, as we've dedicated ourselves to doing 2 episodes a week. So we're doing the week 1 recap, and Clayton and I will be jumping back on this thing on Friday after the Thursday night game, and we'll be talking about all our predictions and what to expect from the Titans next week. Who are they facing next week, by the way?
They're at home to the Colts.
Oh boy!
Of course, everyone loves to call me when I'm.
Of course. Hey, I got one thing before we close out on the Titans. The only thing I wrote down in my notes was that, and I mean, like I said, man, the gods were heavily in favor of the Titans, because how the heck? I mean, you can't win a game. I don't think you can win a game. I would even challenge someone to look this up for me. Put it in the comments. Has any team ever won a game that has penalized? The Seahawks were penalized 100 yards worth of penalties. That's a whole football field, man. How do you recover from that?
The refs saved us. They really did. Thank God. There's like a taunting penalty. I guess that's new. I guess that's a new rule this year,
Yeah.
taunting. So that's okay. They can taunt us all the way into the end zone. But no, the positive is
Another
Tannehill
positive.
play.
All right. Give me another
No, I'm
positive.
just. Well, I uploaded way too much negativity, but on the positive, we got the win, so I calmed down a little. I smiled a little bit. I was like, okay, all right, you guys showed up. Maybe I should have had a little more faith in you, but that's okay. But keep it up. I guess you could say it's humble pie, but no, the positive was Derrick Henry went off. 3 touchdowns, I think over 150 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Here's what's great. This is the good sign. In the past, Derrick Henry has had a slow start to the season. This is the first time ever we've seen in week 2 of his career him getting the monster numbers. Usually it's like week 5 and up. So for him to get those monster numbers in week 2 is a good sign. And I don't know, maybe he just had to get a little rust knocked off, but I think this team was looking at like, we cannot go 0-2.
Yeah.
We can't. We can't go 0-2, and we won't. So, bend but don't break defense. But yeah, good win, and we'll see how it goes with the Colts. So
Great. And speaking of the football gods shining heavily upon the team, whoa, my goodness. Bow.
yeah, dude. Speaking of field goals,
Woo.
that team won because the Vikings kicker missed the field goal. Did you see the game?
I saw clips of the game.
Yeah. So Vikings, I think, had a 14-point lead at one time, and Arizona came back. But man, this could be Kyler Murray's MVP season. I really think so. This kid is lighting it up in his 3rd year, and he's got talent. Hopkins, AJ Green. He's got, the defense didn't play as great, but I also believe like when teams are desperate, they're 0, like the Vikings are 0-1. So they came out and played. They knew that Green Bay was not going to go 0-2 against the Lions. And it's a shame because the Vikings in week 1, in overtime, on the 30-yard line, fumbled the ball. They were going to kick a field goal to win the game. And then this week, if the field goal goes in, it would have been good. The Vikings could possibly be 2-0 right now. But go ahead.
I don't have much to say about this game except there's a huge disconnect in the locker room in Minnesota. You don't sense when they strike the field that there's that elevated energy and passion there. Like, I'm not saying that the players don't want to win. They all want to win, but there's a missing element. I don't know if it's Zimmerman. I don't know if he's the right guy for this job to lead the Vikings to the next level, but clearly Cliff is the right guy for the Cardinals job. He's taken an organization, and you can see the baby steps. You can see that, everything about, they're sharper every week from last year to this. You could see the matriculation in the chemistry of the team, and we don't get to see what happens behind the scenes, man. But maybe Cliff's just a much better motivator than Zimmerman is. He's got his guys ready to play. And that's when those football gods come out and shine up. They're like, they reward that, when you think a team, there's no way that this team's going to win. And, the Cardinals are going to fall to 1-1. Holy crap, he missed the chip field goal. Why? Because, the universe works in mysterious ways, and we can talk about the law of attraction. Right now, the vibration that the Minnesota Vikings are putting out there, that was a result. The result of that game was just a mirrored reflection of how they are humming as a team. Like, the Cardinals are like, and the Vikings are just kind of like, They've found another gear in Arizona that Minnesota should aspire to achieve.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's not like the Vikings were bad. They were in both their games. Really, they should have beat the Bengals. Like after we saw what the Bengals did in Chicago, it just makes you wonder. But this is a kind of collapse that can make Minnesota fall to 0-3, 0-4. Now, it's not the end of the world. You still have, with that extra game, you got 15 games left. You can go 15-2. Looks pretty good. Save your season, but you just no one goes 0-2 and then 15-0. So it's just oh boy. For the better positive
Yes.
vibrational team, the Cardinals, I got to see that good vibrations firsthand.
Yeah.
And it was so strong, it made me question, does my team I will say them winning against the Vikings made the Titans loss not so bad. I was like, okay, this team's pretty good. You just kind of ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are just I think Cliff Kingsbury just has a youthful vibe to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a modern guy. I mean, you saw his house on draft day. It was like this luxury dream home. Zimmer, I saw Zimmer in interviews, and he just looks like people try to crack a joke at him. He's just like, meh, 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 meh. And you're just like, oh man, he's not even like a cool guy to be around.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so that's that game.
Yep. There's different philosophies. You got a bunch of these clubs bringing in the young masterminds and the McVays and stuff like that. And the LaFleurs, if you will. And then there's others that want to go with the old Jedi, the wise and chill coach. I kind of like a happy median. I like a Gruden kind of coach that's just that has the wisdom but isn't old yet, and like Zimmerman looking and like like what's his name from the Broncos, like kind of like getting up there in age. And but not so much a LaFleur. So like that Bill Cowher kind of like fire and passion. So like he can connect with the young players and the old players and still have mutual respect on both sides of the age spectrum. But yeah, man, we need to shift into the next game anyway. And that leads us to the defending Super Bowl champions and probable winners of this year's upcoming Super Bowl, based on my humble opinion. Boo.
Yeah. Ooh, scary. Look at that.
You like that?
Yeah. Wow, fierce. You know what? I don't even want to spend too much time on this one.
Me neither.
So because like there's just there's other games that are better, but
right.
Yeah, typical. I said this game was going to be 45-0. It was 45. I got the Bucs score right.
Yeah.
Was it 25 or something like that? But this game was close at first. This Atlanta was only down by a touchdown with like 5 minutes going into this 5 minutes in the second quarter. So
I watched that game, man, and what I saw was exactly what you brought up earlier. This was a team that for maybe 5 minutes got a little relaxed and were riding the waves of their swagger, maybe a little too prematurely. There, Tom's trotting up the sidelines. He's like, just another day at the office. And everyone's like, man, we got this. And like, but Atlanta was like, hey, pump the brakes. There's still work here to be done. And then Tampa was like, oh, you guys are showing up. Okay, cool. Well, we'll shift gears and we'll show you what we're really capable of. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, it's so funny. Everyone was saying Houston was going to be the worst team in the league. They're is that Tom Brady?
Yeah. Tom's at the front door. He's like, hey, man, listen, if you're going to start talking about me, be careful because I'll find you. Oh, wait, I already know where you are. No, it's my mailman. Go ahead.
Just making sure you're talking positively about me. But,
yeah.
But, oh, no, people saying Houston is going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and they showed up against Cleveland. I think Atlanta is going to be the worst team in the league. I really do. They just don't look great. And this has to be Matt Ryan's last year. And they have pieces, but every team's got pieces of talent. So Atlanta looks like a mess. But
yeah, I really think that what I saw when I watched was like, wow. I'm doing that. I'm counting the weapons and I'm looking, I'm like Ridley and Russell Gage and Mike Davis and the new, their new shiny bright toy in their tight end. And I'm like, and Cordell Patterson, he looks great too. I'm like, maybe it is just the quarterback. And I mean, did the defense really look as bad as the Falcons defense of the past? I don't know, man. I mean, like, yeah, there's 45 points up there, but also minus 14 from two defensive touchdowns by the Buccaneers, by the way. So, and again, Super Bowl reigning champions. So I'm not going to say that Atlanta is going to be the worst team because they do have a lot of talent zipping around on that field. But I think Matt Ryan's holding them back.
Yeah, it's like the Vikings. It's just done. It's burnt out.
Yeah.
I just think it's done. Arthur Smith. Anyway, no reason to even like keep talking about him. But
Yeah.
Tampa looks good. To be honest with you, Tampa looks like the best team in the league right now because of Kansas City, because of Pittsburgh. We had a lot of teams that won in week 1 and lost in week 2. So
Yep.
now we don't have that many undefeateds left. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of a team that lost in week 1, but won in week 2.
oh yeah. Hey, we got our first official field sighting.
Yeah.
Finally.
Like
I
sustained
think
field sighting versus just on and off for one play. Yeah.
yeah, and guess what? They won the game. Like, you think that would be enough? And did we not say it in the previous week?
Yep.
Did those players not look like they like? Did you see the moment that when Fields got the opportunity to play full time? Did you notice the defense picked off? Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. The Bengals quarterback.
Oh yeah, Burrow.
Yeah, they picked Burrow off 3 consecutive times, 3 passes, 3 interceptions. One was a pick six. Then Burrow goes back out there, gets picked off, and then then the next drive he gets picked off again.
Yeah.
I've literally never seen it happen.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
I,
I
I
mean,
think
we
it all
go ahead. Go ahead.
contributes to Fields.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
all contributes to Fields. So
I'm piggybacking on that, and I think it's such a magical thing when a shift in quarterback affects your defense. Like we all knew that Chicago
oh
had a staunch defense. Like they know what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. However, man, when that team found another gear, because I believe, like you said, man, their belief escalated and they're like, oh, now we got something to play. Not that they don't believe in Andy Dalton, but there's a hope in Fields that like, hey, this is special. And it's that whole elite thing. Andy Dalton used to slide himself into the elite conversation, but he's far past that now. And he needs to be a backup like a Flacco. And Fields is the guy. And players know. And they're like, oh, Andy's our guy. Andy's our guy. Because they're programmed to say that. And it's the right PC thing to say in the media. But internally, you all know that they're going, man, I can't wait till Fields goes out there and balls. Like this kid's special. He's electric. And the defense sees that. And you get that adrenaline in you. And when a defense that's already good can just take a sip of the Fields Kool-Aid and be like, it transforms everything. You're absolutely right.
yeah. I mean, because when Joe Burrow throws 3 interceptions, it absolutely affects the defense because the moment you throw an interception, the moment your defense has to go back out there. So yeah, you're totally right. I knew that was good. What was going to happen because they want to get the ball right back to Justin Fields.
Yeah,
they're so excited. It's like, yo, just pick him off real quick so we could get Justin Fields back on here. That was the best injury that could happen. Now I don't wish injuries, but
right.
I think Andy Dalton really did injure himself. But
Yeah.
it just was like,
I mean, look at the play too. Just speaks for again. It's the football gods going, Chicago, it is now your time. And I mean, like he was just running. He didn't get hit or anything like that. It wasn't even a major juke or anything like that. It was just I leaned to the right a little bit. Oh, my knee. Like that's what happens when you're old. That's what happens when you don't take care of your body the way Tom Brady does, and you're eating just inflammatory foods and not being that smart just beyond wise veteran that's like, hey, I'm not 21 anymore. Like, I need to do something different. And Andy's not doing it. Now he's on the sideline.
Yeah, yeah. It could be the diet.
It's part. I'm saying
Could.
it's part of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it's
You know
just
me. I'm gonna
it's
wave
just
that flag every week, and I'm gonna get up on my soapbox. But I mean that's for another day, another podcast. But Andy's done. Justin's in. I will be shocked, Clayton, if we see Dalton back as a starter, barring any injury to Fields. But like, I don't know.
well, the score was 3-7 for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, Fields comes in and the score completely changes. If that's just not a sign, you're at home to the, congratulations, Bengals. You barely won a week 1 game. I only took the Bengals because I thought Andy Dalton was going to stay in the game. And
Same.
the longer the game went on with Andy, the more I thought, oh, the Bengals are going to come back and they're going to tie it up and then they're going to win this game because Andy's so bad.
I bet they
But
would.
I always said, like I said, if Fields comes back or if Fields would come into the game, it's different. And so that's why I didn't get that pick right.
Right.
But I'm not shocked. Good
right.
for them.
And that's why it's hard to make football predictions, because there are things, unless you are a 17th level psychic wizard, that you cannot prepare for. And, you made that pick based on Andy Dalton being the quarterback for the whole game. Here's the other thing. You don't think that the energy, the belief, the hope, everything, the adrenaline, the fans didn't shift the tides of that game too? The Bengals didn't have a chance when Fields hit the field because they finally got to open up their present and they got to play with their shiny new toy. And they were like, their inner child, in each one of those fans, their inner child was screaming in glee and joy and ecstasy. Like, this is why we come here. This is what we love. Like, Chicago's back. Burrow was not going to recover from that. I'll say this. Don't count the Bengals out, man. The Bengals still have good pieces in place. And I feel like we're going to see like a Houston Texan thing. Like, they're going to win some games, man.
Yeah, they'll win some games, but they've got a lot of ways to go. Didn't it feel like the Andy Dalton Justin Fields thing? I'm going to use a movie reference here.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel like Wedding Crashers with Owen Wilson?
I love that movie.
And didn't it feel like Andy Dalton was like Bradley Cooper? Like Owen Wilson's and Amy Adams. They secretly fall in love with each other.
Yeah.
It's
so Owen Williams is Justin Fields then.
Oh yeah, Owen Wilson's Justin Fields.
Nice.
The world, everybody in the world is Amy Adams. And is it Amy Adams or Rachel Adams? Anyway, the lady in Wedding Crashers, the main character. And then Bradley Cooper is he's Andy Dalton. He's that boyfriend where you're just like, dude, just get out of the picture.
Yeah.
Get out of the way, please. Like clearly he doesn't want you. People don't want you. They want Justin Fields. Let this happen.
He plays the perfect rub you in all the wrong ways character, man. What a great analogy. And on that note, let's shift gears into the team that I love talking about the least. Here we go.
You got a Jets jersey on with a Patriots background.
Yay!
Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah. Look, dude. I knew Belichick off a loss. He doesn't usually lose twice. Look, you know how it works with rookie quarterbacks and him.
Yeah. I picked with the green blood that courses through my veins, man. I didn't pick wisely this week when it came to that. But to my defense, I thought that I gave too much credit to Robert Saleh in putting together a defensive scheme that would stifle the other young quarterback in Mac Jones. But Belichick did, as you said he would. He did. I got to give you kudos. You're like, Belichick will not lose to a rookie quarterback after going 0-1. Like, it's not going to happen. I don't care if they're playing on another planet in 0G. Belichick will win. And you were right. It wasn't even like 4 interceptions. Like, they weren't even like, I mean, they were bad interceptions. You're like, is this the same kid you drafted at number 2? Like, what?
Yeah,
What happened?
he had his welcome to the NFL
Yeah.
moment. Dude. I mean, and the way they were picked off too, they looked. But that's what Bill Belichick does, is he embarrasses you. Now, this could be the best tape ever if he studies it right and learns. He knows now exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
So he needs to study that tape and get better. But Salas, I like him. I respect him a lot. Great guy. I've heard his backstory. It is connected to 9/11. His brother was in the building. Luckily, he got out. So it's not a terrible story, but still, he wanted to. He's really into football, and he can't be happier that he's the head coach of the New York Jets. That's all great until you play the game. So he's going to have to go through his growing pains and stuff like that. But Patriots are going to just slowly chug along, and now and that's what else can you say about that game? Like, it definitely makes Sam Darnold look good.
Yeah. And well, look, man, Sam's making Sam look good. Sam was always, there was a reason why he was drafted so high. He wasn't a bust. He was coupled with the wrong coaches, the wrong mentors, aside from McNown. McNown was probably great for him in the quarterback room, but I'm talking about the upper echelon of the coaching staff, not the players, and that camaraderie and mentorship. He wasn't put in a good system. He wasn't supported well, and now he's experiencing the opposite end of the rainbow with Matt Rule and that coaching staff, and they're catering the offense to him. They're rubbing his shoulders and nurturing him in a way that he needs. He's still a young quarterback, and man, he is shining. So, I mean, we'll get to that game, but I mean, I'm not hitting the panic button yet, especially as a Jets fan. Since 1974, by the way, I've been watching football since I was born. So 47 years of football and being a Jets fan has me saying, all right, we're not going 0-16. We're not, it's not going to be a season where we're going to tank. Like you said, Robert and his gang need some time. It's a new system. It's a new culture. It's a foot on the gas and never release mentality. He's a player's coach. He's young. He's vibrant. He has that backstory, that connection to the city. It'll be special, but it's going to take time. It's
gonna be a tough season, but at least you got your guys in there now.
Yeah.
And I believe in Zach Wilson, but they're gonna need another draft.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just enough.
Go ahead.
At least you got your guy.
Yeah,
at least you got your guys.
Yeah, I made my pick too, kind of like the Chicago game. I was picking the Patriots. I'm like, I'm a Jet. Everything that you said, I'm like, yep, you got me. You're right. And the only thing that shifted my course was that I was under firm suspicion, based on what I saw in the media news outlets, that Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, and Jamison Crowder were all going to be available. All 3 were not. So
yeah, well,
that's dude, double teaming Corey
too.
Davis. Corey Davis didn't get free for. I mean, like I slid Corey Davis up in my lineup with that same understanding of who was going to be available, and then game time scratches were 1, 2, 3. Your 3 like lead wide receivers next to Corey Davis, like, dude, that changes everything. Like,
yeah.
And I don't go back and change my picks. I mean, I leave them the way they are. But when I saw that, I was like, well, that's that pick is garbage now. Like, I was still hoping for a great game, which didn't happen. But that, bro, those three names, those are serious offensive threats. Gone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
all
that
right.
just, yeah, it sucks. You ran into a situation, and Belichick's going to get you.
I'm trying to find.
Hopefully,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
hopefully you beat him in New England. But
Yep. Well, that brings us to our next game. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty there for a second. Where is it? Where is it? There we are. Boom. Shakalaka.
I was thinking you were going to Buffalo.
Nope.
Yeah. So since we kind of talked about Stafford, I won't go too much into this game either because I know we're probably rounding up 40 minutes. I can feel it in my soul.
Yeah. We could rip through this game in the next game, which was, but I did skip Buffalo. You're absolutely right. We'll do that one next. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got on the Rams
Okay,
Colts?
bullet points real quick. Cooper Kupp has come to life, and maybe Cooper Kupp was even better than the best years he had with Jared Goff. I'm starting to realize that. Like Cooper Kupp stole the show.
Lazarus man, he has risen.
Your cup is full with Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, man. They've got a chemistry. Look, and you hear the commentators. They're like, he likes Cooper Kupp. And when a commentator says that, especially when it's a football, player, a former player, he understands that there's a bond there. Like they're in sync, bro. They're like BFFs, maybe even off the field. Like they have a connection, and that word is paramount in this league. When you have a connection with it, Tom Brady has it with Antonio Brown and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But anyway, some quarterbacks are able to connect with receivers, more than one, and because they're just outlets for connection. But for Stafford, it seems like I don't say he's narrow-minded in his connectedness, but he has a special connection with Cooper Kupp. Continue.
Yeah, well, and Cooper Kupp's 2 years removed now from the ACL tear that happened 2 or 3 years ago. Those people forget when you get an ACL tear, you're out for that season. The next season, you're slow. It's not until that year 2 or 3 till you're fully back. But he's back. I knew that the Colts were going to give up a lot in the passing game, and that's exactly what happened. Stafford looked comfortable, and then real quick on the other side of the ball. Same old Carson Wentz. Why are we not surprised?
Bro, did you see the update? Did you see the update on his injury?
Yeah. As a Titans fan, I've checked in on that because we're playing them next. So he's got two sprained ankles.
Two? Who sprains both ankles? But a guy that is just a magnet for injuries. Carson, send me your food daily log. Send it to me, and I will help you be a stronger, better NFL player. I'm just saying, you're not, Clayton, I'm waving the flag again. He's clearly not doing something right off the field to be a magnet for these type of injuries. 2 sprained ankles? Come on.
Yeah, so you know how I said, like, Wedding Crashers, Owen Wilson, and Adams?
Yeah.
This is not the case. I don't have a movie for this one, but the Colts and Carson Wentz, they're two losers that love each other. They thought they did, and now they're starting to realize, no, it's me. It's me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they're both they're both starting to, like, the Colts are starting to, like, come down and be like, maybe we made a terrible mistake.
Okay, that said, do you see, I mean, as you look into your crystal ball, do you see a new quarterback emerging, one that might be available out there? Dare I say Cam Newton?
No, not here, because they've invested too much. They've invested too much into this.
So they're just getting 2 sprained ankles. They're going to ride out Brissett for like 6 weeks.
Brissett's not even there anymore, man.
I'm sorry, not Brissett. I'm sorry, Eason. I'm sorry, Eason.
Eason was their 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah.
So, and the Colts, I just don't see Cam Newton. It's an organizational thing. I just don't think Cam's attitude, plus his vaccine issue, he won't get vaccinated, and that's just going to hurt him all season.
Deshaun.
What's that? Cam Newton.
I'm shifting. Deshaun.
Nope. Texans will never trade they're not going to trade. And also, too, you don't have firepower because you traded your picks to Philly.
Okay,
You traded the Texans are never going to trade Deshaun Watson to a division rival.
so the only option left is Kaepernick.
And, yeah, sure. And then he can get hurt. Then he can get hurt in 2 weeks.
Right.
And you're right back in your situation. But
so they're gonna stick with you're saying they're gonna stick with Eason, and when Carson heals up his double ankle injury, he's gonna be the starter again, unless Eason just catches fire.
Yeah, but Eason ain't gonna catch fire, dude. This team, it's not. What magic? If they're 0-2, what magic do they have?
Yeah.
Like enough with giving the Colts all this praise for doing absolutely nothing. And yes, I'm a Titans fan. And yeah, if a Colts fan sees this, yeah, I don't like you guys. Okay. Like we better beat you.
There you have it, folks.
I don't like the owner. I don't know. It's just too. Anyway, I don't want to start. I want to be in a good attitude. You don't want me to start cursing.
I do actually. In fact, that's
no.
All right. Let's do this then. Bye, Colts.
Yeah. So Tua got hurt, and you know who came in to relieve him, right?
Brissett. Yeah, that's right. I got ahead of myself.
Yeah, man. So Buffalo, I picked that game 31-12. I guess I was too modest. It was 31-0. So, and those 12 points were going to be 4 field goals. So,
well, the news is that Tua's rib injury isn't that serious, at least thus far. I mean,
he didn't have a legal hit. That was a clean hit. He just got him.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that like it was bad protection. Tua really should have saw that guy coming. I mean, my God, the guy was running right at him. Like get out the way, dude.
I don't see it, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like why you sacrificed yourself for a 5-yard guy didn't even catch it. It was supposed to be a 5-yard out. But that was the play. And then, it's not Brissett's fault. He had to come in and try his best, but I thought they should have kicked field goals instead of going for it, and they just kept going for it, and they kept turning the ball over, and they kept going for it and not getting it, and that's why it's 0-31. But hey, good job on the Bills, man. I knew they were going to take care of business. You see how I didn't pick them in week 1, but now, yeah, I got them in week 2. But the Bills are doing good. They're rocking and rolling. They got their mojo back. They look better than the Chiefs.
After Tua's unfortunate collegiate injury, I was worried that the sparkle might be gone. I think we're starting to see that, maybe not just because he got hurt with his rib injury, but I'm not. I said this last week. I'm not buying what Tua's selling, man. I think maybe his people and in his recovery, what he was able to show showed some promise. But I don't know if this is a sustainable elite conversation quarterback. Not saying he needs, to move on with his life. He could have an NFL career, but it might have to be in a Brissett type role, because I think the Dolphins I think their patience is going to be very, very thin continuing moving forward, because there were open conversations with the Houstons about Deshaun. It wasn't a secret. And those might be reopened again. Who knows?
I definitely think so. Yeah,
we'll see.
And now I'm over Tua now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. Because you just saw what it's like life without Tua, and you're going to keep seeing that if you keep having Tua. I just think he's too fragile.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how on earth he got so hyped up. So.
Yeah, let's move on from this crazy division, man.
Yeah. Because we still got like a bunch of games.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of games, and I've already made a depressing silent movie tribute to this week's AFC East debacle. You can find that on my TikTok and John Pepe comedy. Actually, no, go to John with a J. You can find either one of them on TikTok. Look up Clayton Anderson NFL for his NFL analyst takes, and sometimes comedic musings, if you will. Also, Clayton Anderson comedy on TikTok. But let's move on to yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, Sam Darnold's best thing he did was get traded to this team. The Jets find a way to make other teams better. It's amazing. But no, Christian McCaffrey looks realize I'm being a little too loud here.
Good.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey looks good. That defense looks great. Really, it was the defense that surprised me. I thought Carolina might win this one in a shootout. I did pick the Saints just because they look great. But man, what a difference a week makes. And oh boy, did Jameis Winston turn back into a pumpkin in week 2. That Cinderella story just ended like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. He lost his composure, but that's the Saints' fault for trusting in him. You can't be mad at it.
Yeah.
They're the ones who signed him a year ago. So, but good job for the Panthers, man. They're tied at first.
Yeah. Everyone in all the hullabaloo is about the defense and how electric they are. And yeah, okay. That's great, man. I'm not surprised. They got their man in Matt Rule. And when you go out and you expertly diagnose who that culture transformational leader is going to be, they got the right guy, man. And in 1.2 quick years, he has shown the league, what it is and what can happen when you get the right guy. And a lot of people think they have the right guy, and then they're stuck in contracts, they're stuck in pride things and ownership, yada yada yadas. Like it gets messy. But I look, man, I'm all for people having illustrious, long, sustainable careers. But again, this is like that quarterback conversation of elite. There's only 32 positions on this planet that gives you the title of NFL HC. You got to be special, man. If you're not, then maybe you need to be a coordinator. Maybe you need to be a college or high school football coach or commentator or something like I think the owners, with all these zillions of dollars and all this pressure from the fans, and it's a business, you got to have the right guy. Carolina got the right guy. Matt put all the right people in all the right places. He's another player's coach, and I don't get to hang out with him, whatever, but I would think that he has this certain charisma about him, this certain just spark that the players just believe in and they gravitate toward, because it's the product that is on the field is a direct manifestation of what the qualities that this man clearly possesses. I got to give props to Matt Rule for sure.
Yeah, that was great.
Do I golf claps and poetry snaps? Moving on, I do not have a Denver Broncos backdrop. For some reason, I didn't load it up, so we'll give them something special. Let's go. There we go. All right.
Sure, that looks like a Bronco.
Right.
It's got 4 legs.
It's the closest I got.
Once again, I think people are overlooking the Broncos. Maybe they just didn't care about them. Maybe it's because they're out in the middle of the country. But I knew if they started Teddy Bridgewater, they were probably going to win, and that's what they've done so far. And they are sneaky good.
Stop.
They have a lot.
Stop. I know you have so much to say, but I don't want to miss out on this part of the conversation. Please tell us why what you just said about Teddy Bridgewater.
What's that? That
you said if he starts, they're gonna win games.
Yeah, if he starts, they're gonna win games because Drew Lock was just gonna throw picks, and he's got the upside. The ceiling of him's higher, but I think they saw last year Drew Lock is just gonna throw a stupid pick, and Teddy's not. And I think that's why they brought Teddy. And ultimately, I think it's sad to see, but Drew Lock's hype is going to go down, and he's going to become a backup quarterback. He already is. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can kind of tell that Denver has already dumped Drew Lock.
Yeah.
So, and you talk to Teddy, you see how he carries himself. He's a professional. Von Miller, after the Giants game, said that I know if Teddy's out there, we got a chance to win.
I love that. I love that because what I heard in one of the broadcasts, and I don't know much about Teddy. I mean, he was a backup for, just a hot minute there with the Jets, and then he was clearly valuable because of the trade that they got for him and stuff. So I was like, man, I hope we didn't get rid of something special. Here we go again. Just making other teams better, right? And funny, he went to Carolina, right? Like Darnold, and now he's in Denver. But what I heard on one of the broadcasts is that Teddy actually asked the equipment manager to put wide receiver KJ Hamler's, the young kid, his locker right next to his. I love this because football is, we already talked about the connection, about chemistry. So if he has the young buck right next to him, man, I mean, they're talking all the time before game, after the game, again, maybe even off the field, who knows? But that's smart. That's electric. That spills into the defensive side of the ball. Look, you got Vaughn talking about how they believe in him. And Teddy gets clearly that it's important that he has his receiver on his hip so that they can create that bubble, gurgle, magic on the field. I love that. And I think they're going to have a really surprising season.
They got a great receiving core. They got great tight ends, serviceable running backs, and the defense is a lot better than people think. They got a pass rush, and they got Surtain, a cornerback, who got his first interception as a rookie. That's a pretty good sign.
That was a sweet interception too.
Yeah, I thought he was out of bounds, and so when I saw it again, he wasn't. But that was sick. Yeah. So in Jacksonville. The only good thing I can say about Jacksonville is they came out, and you thought they were going to make a game of it at first. When it was 7, it was 7-0. But no, Jacksonville is probably going to be the worst team in the league, man.
And see, I would liken that to as I watched that game. I got stuck with that game because I'm here in Orlando, so that's the only game that was on. So I'm like, okay, let me make something positive out of this negative, nonsensical bowl of crap that I'm going to have to watch, and learn about the Jags. And here's what I learned: that Trevor Lawrence is like one of the, I'm comparing it to baseball here. He's like a starting pitcher, like a rookie starting pitcher, where you're like, man, this kid's got gat. Man, he looks good. He's smooth. He's comfortable. Like, I understand why you guys got him. But after inning 1 or 2 is over, you've got tape on him, and you're like, oh, okay, I got it. He's going to throw the fastball, jack, home run, jack. Like, he's still learning the NFL game. He's predictable. It's going to take the kid's going to be great. And you can see all those qualities there. But like in pitching, you can't rely on your 100-mile-an-hour fastball that got you through high school and college. By the way, he never lost a game in high school and college, lost his first game, and now second game in the NFL, because it's a different game. You can't get away with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in the NFL. You're going to have to add a slider, a split finger, a knuckle curve to your arsenal. And look, man, if your repertoire is not diversified, and for an NFL quarterback, that doesn't mean throwing a knuckleball, obviously, but it means maybe, selling defenses with your eyes in one way, pump fakes and reads at the line and changing plays. Like, he's going to have to elevate his game to be worthy of that status of number 1 pick and the Hall of Fame blazer that everyone threw upon his shoulders, before even playing game 1. But
he does. He also needs some better receivers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they need a better receiver.
Come on. Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, and DJ Chuck. Come on. There's other teams that have less talent than that. Like, I would argue that.
Really? Marvin Jones is okay, but You got a first-round draft pick quarterback. Give him a first-round draft pick. I was more mad that they took a first-round draft with that second first-round pick. They took a running back.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking there.
You could have taken a wide receiver.
They already had Robinson, who had a great year last year, and Hyde as a back. Like, I mean, I get it. Maybe the kid was going to be a difference maker, and sadly, unfortunately, he got injured. So we won't know this year, and maybe not even next year, based on the recovery. But, Clayton, the other thing I saw was what I see in a lot of Florida stadiums. And I'm sure you've witnessed this too in some of the games you've been to in Tampa and maybe even Miami. There was a sea, undeniable sea of orange jerseys in the stadium. In fact, not only were there a lot of Broncos jerseys, but there was a lot of empty seats. Like, this is supposed to be Urban Meyer's the new regime and number one draft pick. And you know what? Maybe a lot of those empty seats, yeah, I'm going to do it. Sorry, not sorry. Were all those fans that went out and bought Tebow jerseys. And they're like, you know what, Jags? Man. Like, I spent money on this jersey. We believe in Tebow, and people in Jacksonville love Tebow. And he's not even on the practice squad, man. You just totally cut him. They should have made him make him a coach. Get his ass on the sidelines, because the people love Tebow. You took that away from them without even like enough of a investment in time. Like, I'm always going to be a Tebow fan. And I really think he gets a bad rap. But anyway, I know you have an opinion on this, and I can't wait to hear it. I'm sure that all the audience and the fans out there can't wait, because most of them disagree with me and are going to love your take. But let me just say one more time. They screwed up by letting Tebow go. Go ahead.
No, they didn't. They didn't screw up by letting Tebow go. They screwed up by signing him in the first place. It's just, you saw the block. You saw the preseason game. The block.
It was one block. It was one block.
Well, they had a whole. It's too late, man. Like, it's over. It's over. No one else does this. No one else has this. Like, it's insane. There's thousands of other players throughout the years who didn't whine and try to get his way back. It's over, man. Go play arena if you love it that much. But you know that you're so bad that your beloved fan base team can't even keep you on the roster.
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm going to wave the Tebow. I'm going to wave the flag just because I'm a fan. But you got very, very valid points. I get it. But I'm putting this back on lack of experience of a head coach in the NFL, Urban Meyer. It is your responsibility. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm throwing down the gauntlet to fill the seats of your stadium. He needs to get out in the community. He needs to build hope, belief, trust, all those things. He's got to do some work, man. I think him and his staff, and maybe even the players, have to get out there to get this energy rolling. There should be excitement around this team. I didn't see it in the stadium. Sorry, not sorry. Jags fans, grab some of your friends, educate them, show up, and build something special. You've got a lot of tools there.
Until they can start showing something, it's as dead as a fish. Like, it's bad. It's just, I mean, they don't. Who knows if Jacksonville Jaguars are even going to be that in a couple of years? They might be out of there.
You know what?
They might be heading to London.
You know what? On that note, let's give the Jags a ray of hope here. Let's give them a quintessential example of why not to give up, because it can get bad, and it can be bad for a long time, Jacksonville. But guess what? There's always a way, and maybe Urban is the way. And you know what?
Trevor Lawrence is going to be great, but
here's your example.
Cleveland.
There you go.
Yeah, good game out of them. They almost had a scare. I think Houston was up 14-7 at one point. So they the only thing is that their defense doesn't look great. It's okay, but for them, Super Bowl bound, that defense should have been getting like 2 or 3 sacks.
Yeah, bro. I looked at the stat line for Jadeveon Clowney, who was my predicted break stuff Kraken of the week. And then I looked I was like, all right, well, maybe Jadeveon freed up Myles Garrett. Let me look at his stat line. Dude, it was dismal. It was almost
Yeah.
non-existent as far as tackles. There were no sacks by either of them. I'm pretty sure. Maybe Miles had one. I'm thinking it was zero. Oh wait, I think Miles had one. But I
Uh,
mean, like tackle wise and combos and assists, all that stuff. Like, man, it was close to goose eggs for them both. They had like 3 each or something. Like nothing special. And from the bookends that were supposed to transport them to the Super Bowl, as you said, yikes! Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet.
yeah. They'll they have like 8 new players on defense, so they'll get it gelling. Offense looks great, man. Even their beyond, I'll say, I'll keep this more positive. Like I think Cleveland did
Sure.
well. They did what they were supposed to do. They're supposed to win. If they would have lost this game, then we would have had some issues. But they won the game. They won it pretty soundly. They took care of business. They ran the ball. Now that's really what they got going for them. But they got to get Odell Beckham back. He's got to come back this week. You know, it'll help.
Yeah,
It'll help a lot
they
because
lost
they're saying
yeah.
Landry.
Yeah, they lost Landry. Not for the season,
What?
but he hurt he was brought out of the game because of a knee
Yeah,
strain.
yeah. It's gonna be weird to if Odell Beckham comes back and there's no Landry because those two were like best buds or are best buds.
That's yeah, they are, and that's what excited me about that team too. I'm like, oh man, I didn't know about their relationship, and I was like,
Yeah.
there's that chemistry thing, and when you, but they've never really both of them been able to be out in the field at the same time, which is just heartbreaking.
Yeah, they had at the beginning of last season. Oh no, wait. They spent this is Odell Beckham's third year,
Yeah,
so they've had one. They had one full season, and then they had like half a season, and then Odell Beckham got hurt. So yeah, so don't worry, Odell Beckham will be coming back, and they'll be able to. I think he's gonna be fine. I think Odell Beckham's gonna be fine, and they're gonna be right back on the field. And I think that's when the Browns are really gonna take off. But right now, they have figured that running game out. And dude, their third string running back even looks good.
mm,
Number 25, I forgot his name, but dude, he looks super fast.
good.
He caught that ball in the 30, and he it was just like a basic dump off from Baker, and he took that thing to the house. Like he was shifting and moving, and it was awesome. You got to go back and see it.
I will. Speaking of speed, let's shift into the next game. Ba-ding!
Yeah, you know what? This is one of those games I didn't watch a lot of, probably because at the restaurant I was at, the bar I was at, the game was like off in the corner, so it wasn't really in my vision. But Philly looked better. I knew this game was going to be closer than people thought. But just a typical. For some reason, the Niners are good on the road. They tend to lose more at home, which sounds funny. But here we go again. Niners look like they're about to make another Super Bowl run. But I think they looked average. I don't think they look terrible or worse. But Philly had a chance to win this one, so Philly should be proud.
Yeah. I said, speaking of speed, I wanted to make mention to the land speed. Now, Philadelphia has always been known to have electrifyingly fast players. Deshaun Jackson, folks like that, just really they built back in the Chip Kelly days too. He was like speed, speed. I need speed. And this new cat who is going to be my waiver wire Woody of the week, by the way, is Quez Watkins. Set a land speed record for the Philadelphia Eagles organization, like running the fastest that any player ever has, or something along those lines.
That
Kid
says a
is
lot.
quick, fast, but
Yeah.
like a guy I didn't even know. I don't know who Quez Watkins is. I don't know what college he's out of and when he was drafted and all that stuff. But watch out for this cat, folks, because he's got that cheetah speed. Yeah, Tyreek, I said it. It could be Cheetah 2.0 coming at you from the other
Yeah.
side of the
Then you have
league.
you got Smith, the first round draft pick. So
Right.
man, they could have a really scary wide receiver core. And also too, they still have Ertz and Goddard. So
Yeah.
Philly Philly played a tough one. They really should have won that game. I felt bad for them because they're feeling good, but they just didn't. They just came up short. Look, the Niners are good. They're a good team. They were 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. So
And a
in the
win's a
NFC
win.
West,
And a win's a win, right?
yeah, a win's a win. But Philly's going to Dallas week 3.
Whoo!
We got a good one.
That's gonna be great. Oh,
Yeah.
they're always great. And they
Yeah.
loathe each other, and it's a divisional game, of course. And oh man, I hope that's gonna be on TV. We'll see. Oh man, fingers crossed.
It might be a Sunday. Could be a Sunday night game. Yeah.
Oh, all right, man. We're running out of time, so bang.
Oh man, this is one of the first games I wanted to get to. Is this the last game?
We got this one, and then the Thursday night game, which was Washington.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. We really did save the best for last.
Yeah.
Man, I betted against the Raiders, and I get it. Ravens and Raiders. The Ravens and Steelers are 2 tough teams, and they just beat 2 tough teams. So because they beat 2 tough teams, now these guys can kind of beat anybody. I love their receiving core. Number 13, number 89, Ruggs.
You got Ruggs. You got Brian Edwards. You got Renfro. You got Darren Waller, of course.
Waller, and they're going to get Jacobs back, the running back, this week. Yeah. They just decided to sit him out. They won that game without Jacobs. That's incredible. But also, too, we're not talking about this. Ever since the fourth quarter of that Ravens game, the Raiders have played some decent defense. I mean, the Steelers never really had the lead the entire game. The Steelers came out flat. I don't know if the emotional win in Buffalo did it. And now, did you hear the reports coming out today? Roethlisberger's hurt.
Ooh, boy.
So, yeah, they can't protect. That offensive line really is as bad as I thought. And I was giving them some hope. I was thinking, well, their offensive line will be all right. But here's the problem, too. TJ Watt is now hurt. He got hurt in the Raiders game. So just the worst case scenario for Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Their season could be falling apart.
Yikes.
But, man, the Raiders, I'm going to keep this on positive. Raiders look good.
Yeah.
Defense never gave them the lead. And the offense looks smooth. Like, maybe John Gruden finally is getting this thing clicking.
Love Gruden, man. And what another amazing game, man. We have been gifted with a treasure trove of games this year.
Yeah, it's only 2 weeks in.
Shoo.
And so what's your thoughts on this game before we jump on?
Yeah, I don't have much, except it's that whole football gods shining on a team that's doing everything right, that's got incredible coaching, passion, buy-in from the players. Gruden's on his fourth year now, so he's got 6 to go to get that ring. And I think we're starting to see why they invested 10 years into this man, because it's just, look, man, it's stew. It takes some time, man. It's not an overnight thing. And yeah, he's 4 years in, but I liken it to high school. As a freshman, you're all excited and this and that, and it's a blur, and you're going through puberty, and sophomore year, things slow down a little bit for you. And then it's junior year, and you're like, I'm starting to get a hang of this thing. And they're like, man, next year I'm going to kick ass. And then you're a senior, and you're like, let's go. And then it's over. Right. But just when you're ready. So Gruden's here in his senior year, and he's like, let's go. But now he's got 6 more years of high school. So I think watch out for the Raiders, because you're stuck with Gruden as a 6-year senior, man. He is going to run the showgram, man. I'm excited about this new stadium. Fans have showed up. Raider Nation. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm old school Raiders fan. When I wasn't watching the Jets, I loved, seeing the Raiders out there. I love the old school 49ers Raiders, Washington football team, aka Redskins back then. But those were exciting teams to me. And I'm really pumped about the excitement coming back to Raider Nation. Yeah.
Yeah. The league is better when the Raiders, Browns, Bills, and 49ers are good. So just a handful, like they always say that the league's better when the Raiders are good, when the Browns are good. And I really do believe that. So
Yeah.
all these teams that have just been trashed for so many years.
Yeah. And there was another game, Clayton, there was another game like the Cardinals where the Cardinals shouldn't have won. The Raiders shouldn't have won this one. And like they won it.
Well,
They won it and then they had to win it again. And that's
oh,
that vibration. I think that they're humming at that whole other level. And because they are, even when the odds are against them, that the other team is like right below. They're operating here. The Raiders are up here, and that tips the scale. And just when you think you're like, there's no way they can win this game. Holy shit, they won the game again. Like,
yeah. I just thought it was late Monday night. It was overtime, emotional. I thought it was going to be draining. Flying to the East Coast on a shorter week. Pittsburgh just won. They didn't have to. Their game was done by 4 o'clock on a Sunday.
yeah.
Maybe they were just lazy. I just think they got outplayed. Maybe Pittsburgh really is not who we think they are anymore. So,
All right, let's clean
right.
it up with the first game of the week, the last game of our podcast today, folks.
Washington football team. Yeah, I was totally dreading this game going into it, and it actually was a blast.
Wow, what entertainment!
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, especially for two up and coming quarterbacks. But just poor Saquon. I feel bad for him. I'm just gonna hit a couple bullet points.
Sure.
Daniel Jones sure can run. The guy can run. So that's good to see. He's got talent. It's just they got to stop turning the ball over.
Yeah.
But Washington, they're gonna be okay. Like I knew Heineke was gonna be all right, and they won the game.
Yeah.
It came down to the last few seconds. So once again, man, all these nail biters. So
yeah,
not for me, but just to watch. But
I love it. I love it. I'm glad that the Giants are showing up, putting a good product out there. I made a video and I said the NFC East was putting a Dollar General store like product out there. And I'm like, folks, I got to give them kudos here. They have elevated their status to Walmart level product offering. Like it's a little better. It's
great.
It's still not there. They're not at Target level yet. But maybe in the weeks to come, we'll see an even a better product put out there in the field. But it was an electrifying game. Cam Newton ain't coming to reunite with Ron Rivera because Taylor Heineke. I said this in one of my TikTok videos too. He ain't scared of anybody, folks. That he is a baller. They've chosen him for a reason. They believe in him for a reason. The kid's got skills. He's fearless. Man, I saw so many check down because I'm an Antonio Gibson owner in my fantasy league. I saw so many check down opportunities to him and even Logan Thomas, tight end, where Taylor was like, "Yeah, that's nice. That's cute. I'm going for the shot." And I was like, "Wow, like golf claps and poetry snaps for this kid. He's bringing it." And they call him Danny Dimes for a reason, folks. He gets so much hate and just so much like, move on. This is a failed experiment. When he's on fire. Like he was dropping some sniper, like just droplets in there, man. Boom. Oh gosh, he looked good. He looked sharp.
Yeah. I was calling it too. I said Heineke's better than people think. You'll see. Because he looked decent in that playoff game last year. I never thought they should have signed Fitzpatrick in the first place. I just thought, why do that?
Yeah.
But hey, it makes him look even better because it's like, cool, you signed Fitzpatrick, but give me a little time and I'll figure this stuff out too. So yeah. I think Heineke's going to become like a Fitzpatrick. You watch.
Yeah.
He'll stay in the league for a long time. So.
Yeah, what a great story, man. Like just on the cusp of giving up. He's moving on to another career and stuff. And then he got the call. Like, it's just so awesome. You and I love those stories and the underdog. So I'm pulling for this guy, man. I wouldn't. Hey, listen, Washington, send me a Heineke jersey. I'll sport it.
Yeah, right.
I'll give you the PO box. Speaking of which, folks, if you want to keep this broadcast going and you love the tandem of Clayton Anderson and John with a J, we do have a PayPal link down below, as well as Venmo. Just put in the description field donation to the Sports Screen podcast, so we know where the funds are coming from. And we'd really
All
appreciate
right.
it. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like, we need equipment. I need new jerseys. Look at this, all faded and stuff. You can't even see what number this is. Clayton wants some hats. So yeah, let's we're opening our hearts always to donation and support of this podcast, because we do it every week and we give it to you guys for free. So yeah, there we go. I don't have much more. We should be wrapping things up here. As always, Clayton, it's been an honor to sit here with you for what we hoped was an hour, but went a little longer. Oopsie. But it's been a blast. I can't wait to do this again with you at the end of the week, folks. We're going to do it twice a week now, so that we can do the week recap and then predictions. We didn't even get to fantasy today, but we'll hit that on Friday. Yeah, it's fine. It's fantasy. Potato, tomato, whatever.
Yeah, not real.
All right. So you got any closing thoughts for us, Clayton?
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, since we're coming on Friday, I just want to make my prediction for the Thursday game.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Panthers over the Texans. So they look better.
Going out on a ledge there, huh?
No, 2-0 versus 1-1. I'm going to go ahead and take the. Oh, you being sarcastic?
Yeah. Also,
Oh,
Tyrod might not be playing, so there's that.
No, he's official. He's out. They're starting a rookie quarterback. So give me the Panthers
to go 3-0.
3-0, yeah. It's gonna be nuts.
Hey, look, I'll jump on that wagon. I'll take the Panthers too. I don't feel any upset here, although I still like what the Texans are doing, and I like how that locker room's come together, folks. Clayton Anderson, NFL analyst. Follow him on TikTok, Clayton Anderson NFL and/or Clayton Anderson Comedy. I'm John with a J, and we'll see you at the end of the week.
See you on Friday.
Thanks, folks. Talk soon.